is Monica Gheorghiu. I represent the Principal CEO of Leonardo Gifted School, and I would like to start with a question for you. What if your child would grow to be a Michelangelo or a Leonardo? This question has made a lot of impact on my life when I started to think about dealing with gifted children about 10 years ago. I studied in United States and in Budapest, in Hungary, and I have come in contact with a new paradigm, with a new thinking, with the teachers that were coming from the industry, and they taught us to think without limits. This kind of education I haven't seen in my country, and this gave me a lot of freedom and exposure to new types of thinking that really made me find resources in myself and come with the expertise in entrepreneurship that I got from a school which was top 10 in the United States, to really think that it is possible to have a campus for children, for gifted children, children that really want to learn, that are motivated to conquer the final frontier and to really go very much further beyond than it was ever gone before. So this exposure that I had really made me think what I could bring for the gifted children. In 2010 we have started a very large project. We had more than 45 children who have studied with us in the first year. And right now we have more than 100 children that have been following our gifted school. We have a 100% satisfaction rate with gifted children. We have now, of course, more than 1,000 hours of direct work with gifted children. And because of our very close relationship with the parents and dealing with their needs, we have found out that they want more. We know your pain. We know that you're dealing with a child who wants more, who asks a lot of questions, who are having very high energy. They're very energetic, and they want to have the challenge in a stimulating environment where parents or where their teachers can afford to have new types of thinking, to think outside of the box, to have divergent thinking, to allow them to be okay for what they feel, for their extremities, for their intense feelings. So seeing that the parents are asking us to have a school, we have made this school. It's called Leonardo Gifted School. It's an international British school. We are COBI's candidate, and we want to attract the most intelligent children, highly gifted children that want to work with us, and they are motivated to learn, to discover more about themselves and to become the inspirational leaders that they can be. They could be a Michelangelo, in fact, if they had the right environment. We never know what they could become, but they for sure need a lot of attention, and they need the good soil, and they need a lot of water, and they need a lot of sun to feel the nourishment that they need. We know they have special needs. These needs are also in their learning, because they need an environment that really is very open. They need this learning environment, which is made of an atmosphere of work which allows that the teacher is equal with the child, where every question is good, where you can ask things that you never thought about, like as a teacher. We are thinking sometimes that these children are having an IQ which is perhaps 140, 150. Of course they will challenge anyone with their thinking, but we need to offer them an environment that really gives them opportunity to learn through direct experience, through projects, through exposure to real audiences. That means very specialized people that would come to listen and to learn what they have invented, what they are thinking about the crisis in, I don't know, somewhere in the world, and to really give them real feedback on the level of capacity they have attained. These children can really make sometimes the work of a commission of experts, and they could really lead us to a new world if they had the opportunity that they are encouraged, they are nurtured inside, they get in contact with their inner resources, and they get in touch with their potential. We offer this inspirational environment where they really can grow. Of course, we are offering an international curricula, which is the England and Wales curricula, but we also offer a very unique enrichment curricula, which is tailored exactly to meet their interests and passions. What could be more important for a gifted child than to learn what he is passionate about? Because sometimes we don't know what they need, but we have to listen to them. And in listening to them, it means you have to offer them just the opportunity that they get in touch with some extraordinary mentors, and they could just feel what they want in this life to pursue. Sometimes by this interesting relationship between a mentor and a child, something magic can happen. The child can learn to love a subject because the mentor is in love with the subject, and he learns this energy of being a creator, being a person who can decide to create something new for us. They are in love with creation. We are offering an environment where children can create. We want to tell you something about the real methods of education. We know that there are extraordinary best practices in the world. We are using them. Just like Finland is using best practices in education and is coming to a centered, individualized education, this is what we're also doing. And just like Finland is having a lot of success, also we're having a lot of success with children. What I'm trying to tell you is that these education methods are pervasive. If you study neurosciences applied in education, you just learn that these new ways of educating the children, offering them a self-organized learning environment, letting them lead the education, letting them free to think, getting the support that they become autonomous thinkers and independent thinkers, people that can think with their own head, are really all over the place. But the problem is that the system of education has never got in touch with this to really offer them tailored to these children. We are doing that already. We have more than 24 differentiator factors, and this is just one of them that we're implementing, and we are using best practices that develop complex thinking, divergent thinking. We are having lessons for thinking. We are involving all the senses and the multiple intelligences of the child. We are involving his passion. We're working with a lot of specialists. In our team we have dual degree teachers, we have Mensa teachers. We are also having a lot of support from psychologists. We know how hard it is sometimes to match the high intensity of a gifted child. So starting with 3 years ago, we have started to work with psychologists, because these children are sometimes having some kind of blockage in front of a public, in front of a deadline. They cannot cope with deadlines. They're very perfectionist. So working with psychologists, a counselor, means that the child, when he faces some kind of an issue, he doesn't even know what it is. The psychologist is there, and the psychologist is there to meet the needs, because sometimes these emotional traumas, they can really go very further away in time, and the child could experience really a lot of anxiety in the future just because some kind of person told him we don't know what. It's like their high sensitivity makes them highly sensitive to everything that happens. So the greatest add-on value is that we work with specialists who can jump there and help the child overcome some situation, be it emotional or even intellectual. We want to tell you something about the pains. There are some pains for sure that you have already experienced. We want to tell you that we know as a parent that you have a lot of questions. So we have been working with parents for at least 3 years, making them progress learning our methods so that they can take them at home, because the child needs this nature and nourishment, nature and nourish principle applied at home too. The child needs parents who are also avid learners, who are letting them ask questions. They need this non-violent communication at home. So we're also working with parents so they can learn new ways of dealing with gifted children. Parents need counseling, of course. So this project, Leonardo Gifted School, is coming close to the needs of the parents too, because we have hours of direct feedback with the parent. We have hours when the parent is involved in working with a gifted child, because the child wants to be seen, wants to be acknowledged for his work, for his capacities. He wants to get feedback, and he wants to feel the emotion of the parent who is happy to work with the child. They want to bond, they want to feel that they are seen. So we're working with these kind of issues for the parents, and also we have personal development hours where the parents are working with specialists to learn new ways of learning about communication, about how to build a team at home, etc. Of course, you have maybe some questions about our selection process. We have developed over the time a very consistent and very challenging selection process. But this is of high value for both the child and the parent, because during this selection, which starts with a very reputed international test, which is either Wechsler Intelligence Scale for Children edition, 4th edition, or Zone R, either of them, they're based on the age of the child, means that the child and the parent and us, we can just see how the intellectual development is going on, and we can later work on some aspects that the child has shown. For example, they are not the processing speed is sometimes low. They're very perfectionist. They want more time. They want a lot of time, and sometimes they lag behind because they want to deal with the subject to the perfection. Sometimes that is not possible in reality. So, for example, we will learn in this project spontaneity, and we will go there because, of course, this is an aspect that the child hasn't been offered the opportunity to discover that he has spontaneity. So these tests are a value, they're adding value to the process of self-knowledge for the child and knowledge for the parent. There are also in the process moments where you have to talk to the counselor, and you have to, he's a psychologist, he wants to see if you're motivated enough to make the effort to meet the needs of the child, to come to the hours where you are supposed to work with the child, etc. And there is also an interview with me. We're also having an evaluation, a behavioral evaluation, where the children are put to limit situations where they can really find out if they can stretch, if they can really match here. They're also having a team building because we are viewing the children as capable of having their own decisions, and by treating them with this, for this capacity, they are showing us that they are capable of deciding for their own development. So we are offering them a team building where they can come and they can feel how we are going to learn here. And then we are asking them if they want to learn with us. So we are seeing that this is the right process of decision making for both the parent and the child. There is also a workshop for the parents where they learn more about the school. We want you to be very well informed for your decision. And there is also a counseling period where you talk with a psychologist with all this information. We also have a holistic test which offers you information about the physical aspects of how the energy of the child, where is it going, how the hemispheres are used, etc. And all this information with the counselor is brought to a finite decision and the counselor is there so that you can have this structured approach to the needs of the child, how you can meet them. Of course, this is the highest value that you can get. You need the information so that you can make a structured decision. So we want you to be very well informed. We are there to also receive your questions. So, of course, this is like meeting the needs of both the parent and the child. This is why we thought about a selection process that really comes close to the person and lets them decide for themselves. Feel before you act upon your decision to enroll with us. Of course, it's a costly school. Like any British school, we aim only for very high quality of education. Your child is going to be exposed to perhaps around hundreds of personal development hours of enrichment, which is very costly because we work with highly selected personalities, the mentors, who are coming here, of course, with their own capacity to deal with these children. But these are people that we headhunt for, and we want you to know that we also respect these people and we love them, and we know that they can share the best of input for the child and the best perspective, so that the child can grow into a creator. We know that this is costly. For sure, you can imagine that dealing with such a lot of people, we have a lot of people in the room for your child. But I'm going to ask you, can you estimate how much it would cost the unhappiness of your child if the child grows to feel anxious, if he grows to not want to go to school anymore, or if he grows to face the social risk of alienation because they need an environment where they can meet with other children just like themselves. So I'm coming to ask you, do you want for your child an environment where your child is respected for his uniqueness, where he can make friends, where he can make friends with other children, where they can feel they can grow and they can find out about their limits and their potential, and where they feel free and happy in their own skin, and meet with other children just like your own child with the same high level of ability? I think the answer you can find in yourself. I also know that you could be also anxious about what could come next. Yes, it's a primary school for children from 5 years to 11 years old. So you're asking perhaps what is next. Of course, it's a very good question. But I want to tell you that in a few years, 2 years from now, we have this plan to become also a secondary school. This means that you have an option and this possibility to think further beyond in the future. Also, maybe you're asking about the diploma. The international curriculum that we are offering, and based on the process of accreditation from COBIS, which is the Council of International British Schools, of course we will be offering your child a diploma which is recognized worldwide and to international schools, and of course you can take whichever decision that you want, because you will have a diploma or with a capacity to open doors for your child. Of course they will have also a certificate in following a gifted education. Also, we want to tell you that maybe you're asking, what is the child learning? The most important thing that your child will learn is that he will be able to be a person of capacity for a lifetime, a person who is in touch with himself, happy for who he is, and he will get the skills for a lifetime. Perhaps if you have been reading the book of Malcolm Gladwell, The Outliers, which I highly recommend, you'll find out what it means to have a high IQ and what are the prospects of success for a child, for a person. And you'll find out that there is no guarantee that your IQ is getting you anywhere. It's like I'm telling the parents this metaphor that your child is having a Ferrari in his brain, and if he doesn't know how to, how to gear this Ferrari, he will just, he can enter any wall in 3 seconds. It's like they need to learn how to think, how to get in contact with their learning capacities, because they don't have very good management skills in their own development, and they are learning how to manage their own development here. They're learning how to say what is good for me, what is not good for me, how to take a decision, how to think with their own head, how to manage what I feel it is good for me, what I feel it is not good for me, and what do I want to do next. They feel here that life offers them this chance, like an open book, like the universe is open for me and I can ask whichever questions I want. So this book, I think, would open your perspective on what is an IQ for a child going to give. Unless he's supported and nourished, there is no guarantee. So we have devised this school that the child can really be offered this opportunity to grow into the potential he can be. So I'm encouraging you to go through the website and see the videos of the children, see the videos of ambassadors, see the pictures, read between the lines and feel the energy with what we're really dealing with the children. We're offering them a very high emotional energy that can really give them the support for very good decisions later in life. These children need just nourishment so that their nature can become the potential that we will see. So I want to thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you in the interviews with me, and I'll be just glad to talk to you. Thank you.